Today's episode is called How to Evolve with Your Net Worth. If you were rich and you lost all your money overnight, you wouldn't continue to spend the way that you had been spending. You'd tighten up your budget and you'd eliminate discretionary expenses. Why don't we react similarly to the opposite situation? When your net worth starts to increase, why don't you loosen your purse strings and start to enjoy your money more? Carl and I have seen many people in the FI community live frugal lives and accumulate money, but their behavior doesn't change as their bank account balances start to increase and their investments grow. Sound familiar?
No.
I was not expecting you to say that. They're rich, yet they're still living like college students. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to evolve with money effectively based on firsthand experience that we have acquired as we try to evolve with our money and relate to our net worth. Hi there, I'm Mindy Jensen.
And I'm Carl Jensen.
And this is the Mindy
and Carl
on Money podcast, where we talk about what happens after you reach financial independence.
Why do we call this show Mindy on Money?
Because we can.
Okay. Wow.
On this episode of Mindy
and Carl
on Money podcast, Carl and I are talking about evolving with your net worth. But before we get started, let's take a quick break.
You just read my part.
I know. You're just supposed to roll with it.
Today's episode is sponsored by our friend Amberly Grant's new podcast called Jump In Feet First. Is it a diving podcast?
No, you are a weirdo. Amberly's podcast, Jump In Feet First, explores the idea that most things in life take 20 seconds of courage. So she explores new ways of living through conversations about life and finance.
20 seconds of courage you could buy a Lamborghini for me with 20 seconds of courage. Evolving with our net worth, it would be on brand for this episode.
I'm not going to buy you a Lamborghini without talking to you.
Okay. Well, let's talk about other ways. Oh, so there's a chance. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did that sound like there was a chance I was going to buy you a Lamborghini?
I don't really want one, so it's okay.
Good thing.
And now, let's discuss how to evolve your net worth without purchasing a Lamborghini. Or do it if that's what you want to do. We won't judge.
Okay, but before we jump into that, I want you to differentiate. How is evolving with your net worth different from lifestyle creep?
Ooh, that is a great question. And I'm going to turn this one around on its head and contradict something that I have said many times. So I am going to, right now, for the first time ever, are you sitting down?
Yes.
Are our audience members sitting down?
Who knows? Doesn't
know.
matter what they're doing.
I hope so. Maybe one of them is sitting in their Lamborghini. Anyway, I've always said that FI isn't a compromise. But I'm going to go back a little bit and say it is. If your life looks different at two different parts, then what caused that difference? And I'm going to say when you're young, it's good to be frugal, and maybe you shouldn't have your perfect life. You're going to not sacrifice, that's too strong of a word, but you're going to delay the gratification of some things you really want so that you can have even better things later on. You're going to get that money rolling. So I don't think it's lifestyle creep. I don't think it's that you're living your perfect life at a younger age. And by that, I don't mean that you should live a life of deprivation. You shouldn't live in a van or someone's basement if that's not really what you want to do, and eat cans of tuna fish, although that's what I do actually do. But compromise a little bit to get that money started.
Okay, well, I'm going to answer my own question. Because as you were saying what you were saying, I had a thought. Lifestyle creep isn't in regards to your net worth. It's in regards to your income. So evolving with your net worth means as you grow wealthier, you can let the purse strings go a little bit. But lifestyle creep to me means you are making more income, not at all related to your net worth. You are just making more income. You get a raise at work, or you get a new job and now you're making $20,000 more a year. And then you start spending $20,000 more per year. Not on investments, you're just buying more things. So lifestyle creep is more about income and adjusting your spending to your income versus adjusting your spending to your net worth.
And I think I'd reframe this whole thing in that I don't like the word creep. I know sometimes you call me that, and you're probably justified. So let's get away from the word creep. Let's not offend real creeps out there. I guess
Lifestyle weirdo?
No. I think at different points in life, I'm going to use the O word, you should optimize for different things. When you're young, it pays to optimize, to look at the grocery store and try to find the best deal. Maybe even, dare I say, cut coupons, which I still do now. There's a 20% off Culver's coupon, and that flyer thing that came in the mail. Yes, I do look at those. But
I don't even look at those anymore.
yeah, the value pack, it's awesome. Hello,
Yeah.
value pack people. If you're looking for an advertising spot, we have spots. Okay, they're never going to advertise with us. But it means a lot more to optimize for different things at different points in your life. So, like when you're young and don't have kids, and when you're single, I remember I'd go to work, I'd come home, and sometimes I'd mow the lawn, but otherwise I'd have like 4 hours to do pretty much nothing before bedtime. So at that point, my time wasn't as valuable to me because I seemed to have an excess of it. You weren't in the picture after you came in. That took a little bit more of my time. Very worthwhile time.
Good save.
And then you have kids and even more of your time goes away. So now, I have to fight for minutes of my time. But back then it's not. So back then it was okay to optimize more for money. Do things like compare prices in the grocery store. Get those coupons from the thing. And now that doesn't make so much sense anymore. Now our primary thing, since we do have the money, is to optimize for time.
I'm going to reframe it one more time and say, I wonder if lifestyle, not creep, is being unintentional with your money. And evolving with your net worth is being more intentional with your money when you have some.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought.
Okay, well, it looks like I'm right.
So what does intentional mean? What's the difference between being a lifestyle creepist and being a money intentional person, a MIP?
I'm going to go with money intentionalist.
Okay.
Lifestyle creepist spends without thought, without forethought. They just spend. Oh, the new iPhone 11 is out. I'll buy that. Well, do you really need it? You already have the iPhone 999. Why do you need the new one when your other one works just fine? If it's got, there was one iPhone iteration where the camera went from okay to amazing. And if you take a lot of pictures, maybe that's something that is worthwhile to you. But again, it's an intentional thing, not just because the new thing came out. It's not a creepist thing. You're not allowing your lifestyle to creep up unintentionally.
Okay. So you've put thought behind it, and you can think of, this is such a hard conversation because there's an infinite number of variables. Like the phone might be justified because it's got a bigger screen and that's relevant. It does crack me up when people stand in lines to buy the new phone. Why? They're so good. It's a diminishing return at this point.
That was just one example.
Yeah, and it's that inner versus outer scorecard. Would you drive around a Lamborghini if it looked like a Toyota Camry to all your friends? Is it really meaningful to you, or are you doing it for some other reason?
I would be more inclined to drive a Lamborghini if it looked like a Corolla, because then it could fit more people.
Yeah.
Doesn't a Lamborghini just seat two?
Yeah, I think so.
Except for the SUV.
Yeah, they've got an
Why
SUV.
did they make an SUV? That's so silly.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, this conversation is getting way off the rails. Why don't we reach out to our listeners and say, hey, what does it mean to evolve with money versus lifestyle creep? Please chime in our Facebook group, which can be found at facebook.com/groups/MindyOnMoney. Let's jump into the meat of the conversation after 47 minutes of rambling. There are thoughts that hold us back from evolving with our net worth, you and me specifically. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. We are the kings and queens of DIY. See, that wasn't quiet at all. We are the kings and queen, the king and queen of DIY. I can do this myself. Why would I pay somebody? And if you've been doing it for a super long time, it can be really hard to let go of that. One of the things that we did, we've talked about this multiple times. One of the things we did is I can clean the house, but I hate cleaning the house. But why would I pay somebody to clean it when I can do it? Well, because they do a way better job. They're faster, they're more thorough, and my house looks way nicer when they're done. I hate cleaning, so it takes me forever to do it. And it was a huge hurdle to get over I have $200 that I'm paying somebody else to clean my house when I can do it myself. But after a few months of doing that, I happily throw $200 at my cleaning person because I don't want to do it anymore. I value the time that I get back.
Yeah, that has been definitely beneficial to our life. But I'm wondering where you draw the line on that. And I think of some of our construction projects, and there's two issues here. Number one, it's so expensive to hire someone to do something, and that's the money side of it. And even then, maybe it's still worthwhile to pay 2 or 3x what you could do it for. Like, it's just crazy. I think we put all the windows in our house, really good windows, fiberglass, some triple panes, and sliding doors I bought them all. I think they were like $15,000, and I see people getting inferior window quotes, and they're like $50,000 for junk windows. So where do you draw the line there? And the other thing is, I guess this is less relevant, but I see some of the work people do, and I'm no master carpenter, but I take my time and I really care because it's my house, and I can do better work than a lot of these people. Not finished carpentry, that sucks. But a lot of stuff, we've hired some awful people to try to do stuff, and it's just like, why am I paying you to do anything for this garbage work?
That one is a really tough one, especially in this current real estate market where in 2008, people left the industry, the home repair industry, because there was no work, and they didn't come back in 2009, 10, 11, 12. They've already got another job now. So there's a huge shortage of skilled workers. There's no shortage of people who think they can do it, and then they come to your house and they mess it up and they leave, and then you're stuck fixing a problem instead of just doing it yourself. So that one, I can understand why we don't hire that out, but we can instead hire out other things that free us up to be able to do this, because it is a short-term pain point.
Yes, and we'll talk a little bit more about how to be comfortable with these thoughts in a moment. The big E word, which I won't say, it's a cliffhanger. But how do you transition? How do you turn the corner like us? I think we found it pretty hard to go from the saving mentality where we're looking at the cost of flights and all that, which I still do, or maybe hotels or rental cars. How do you turn that around and go from saving to spending? How do you make the transition?
Well, right there, I think you are thinking about it incorrectly. You are trying to make a change from saving to spending. And that, as we have learned, shouldn't be a hard line. Like, we're saving. Okay, we made our goal. Now we can spend. That is going to be very, very difficult. So you look into ways to incorporate the things that you enjoy, that bring you joy, that make your life better all along the journey. I think one of my favorite episodes of the Bigger Pockets Money podcast was with Liz Frugalwoods, who shared how when she and her husband discovered the concept of financial independence, they're like, we're cutting out everything. And they got rid of everything that wasn't the absolute bare bones for a month. And then the next month they were like, well, that wasn't our favorite month ever. What do we miss? What do we want to bring back in? And then now you start looking at different ways to keep things in your life. Once you have a rich, full life, you don't mind spending a little bit on something that makes you happy. Or you're getting all of this stuff for such a low cost that you can continue to spend money on some things. But I think it shouldn't be a hard and fast, I'm a saver and then now I'm a spender, because that's going to be a really big 180 and that's hard to deal with.
Agree. I want to do one experiment with you, though. You said that Liz, they subtracted everything from their life and then added back. She had a post about how she let her husband cut her hair. So I think we should mimic this experiment. I let you cut my hair, so why shouldn't you let me cut your hair? And we could start that next time you need a haircut. I know you just had one, but let's do it. Are you on board with that?
Not a chance.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Okay, what's next?
Learning to spend. We just talked about spending and going from saving to spending. Learning to spend. Money's a tool. You use money to bring joy into your life. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy tacos, and that's basically the same thing. So what are the tacos in your life?
Is that a rhetorical question, or are you asking me?
It's a rhetorical question.
It's hard to know what is going to bring us joy in our life. And I think, like if you watch TV, there's all kinds of commercials, and the main point of those commercials are trying to tell us that their product will bring joy to our life, like the chicken wings, and there's a bunch of people sitting around watching the football game, laughing and drinking, or beer, people having a good time, or
that brings me joy.
Or big trucks like jumping through the snow. I think they had a commercial at the Super Bowl. We don't watch a lot of TV here. I'm just trying to think of the ones. Like, can you think of a commercial trying to... And they're not even trying to sell you the item, which is interesting. Like modern advertising, they're selling you the experience. Like, how many times do you watch a commercial and you don't even know what it's a commercial for? Like,
yeah.
You ever see a drug commercial and there's a couple running in slow motion through a field of daisies, and it's a commercial for like hemorrhoid cream? And they're smart, these marketing people. They're not going to just come on there and tell you, hey, this will get rid of your roids. Your life is going to be great, and you're going to be so happy because you use this product. And advertising works. Like, people believe this, and they buy this. So how do you really, and this might be too big of a tangent, but how do you really figure out what makes you happy? I think this might go to our next point in our discussion.
What is our next point in our discussion?
Experimentation. You have to experiment.
Oh, experimentation. Okay. Well, you left some of this up here. We've got show notes, and he's not moving them properly. Experimentation. Okay, let's talk about some of the experiments that we have done.
Okay. What have we done?
We experimented with saving $20 on a 2 layover plane ticket. And we've decided that that's not our jam.
I kind of like that. That was fun. We got to see Minnesota, Chicago on the way to...
Florida?
Yeah, we had 2 stopovers, right?
Yeah. And there was already going to be one. It's not like we had the option of a direct flight. They didn't have a direct flight. But the second stopover was unexciting. And we saved $20.
Yeah. Now we take Ubers. We never used to do that. We used to take city buses or some other suboptimal form of transportation. Maybe optimal for money, but not optimal for our time, which has more value now. Our helicopter ride, we've done some big experiments. That was your first time on a helicopter, right?
Why do you say it like you've been on a helicopter 100 times?
I don't know. It was my first time. I'm just asking you if it was yours.
It was our first time together. That's creepy.
Wow. It was nice. I would do that again, even though it costs a lot of money, but I would not save that $20 on the layovers.
Yeah. So what is something else that you have experimented with and decided it wasn't worth it?
Probably a fancy car. We had an Acura NSX, a famous Japanese sports car. We had it for a couple of years, and it's kind of cool, but then it wears off, and it's just another thing you have to maintain, change the oil on, and take care of, and worry that someone's going to ram a shopping cart into it at a parking lot. And then that ran its course. I rented a Corvette in L.A. last year, and that was similarly underwhelming, but in a different way. It's not fun driving a car where your butt is 6 inches off the ground in Los Angeles traffic.
No. Was it a stick?
No, the new Corvette it's not really an automatic. It's kind of a hybrid, but you don't shift.
Oh, well, I like to be in control, so I like to shift.
I know you do.
What are some other things that we have spent money on and decided it wasn't worth it? I know that I have flown first class. I didn't actually spend the money on it. But I have flown first class, and I decided that if anybody wants to give me free first class tickets, I will take them all day long. But I would never pay for them because I am a short person. My legs are even shorter. My knees don't touch the seat in front of me when I'm sitting on the airport or in the airplane. They don't even come close. I am perfectly fine in a regular seat, and it isn't like first class is $100 more. First class is like thousands more, and we all get to the plane we all get to the airport on the same time. So for me, that's not something that I value. However, I will caveat that with I haven't flown to Asia, when we did fly to Europe, that was kind of a sucky flight.
We did fly to Asia, right? Istanbul is like on the border.
That's Eastern Europe?
Well, it's on the border of Asia. Yeah, Constantinople, whatever. Yeah,
Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's
Yeah,
Istanbul, not Constantinople.
It borders the continents. Geography is hard.
Geography is hard. Also, we didn't actually go to Asia, so I just counted as I haven't been to Asia.
Okay, that's fine. I never understood the attraction behind first class either. Some people are so into it. I guess maybe if you had one of that super fancy things where it like laid flat and you could sleep, maybe. But
If I was going on like a 20-hour flight, maybe, but even then, like, I don't need the space. I don't take up that much space.
yeah, I think it's overrated.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you have experimented on spending with and loved it or hated it? We would love to hear both. In our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Mindy on Money. We're going to post this question there and see what you think.
One last thing I'll say about this is it's okay to fail. That's the whole point of an experiment. If there's something you think might add value and you buy it and it doesn't, boom, at that point you never have to do that thing again, and you could save your money on that. But you might learn something about ourselves, like the cleaner person we hired brings much more value to our life than I thought it would. So, yeah, experiment. And if you don't know what to do with your money, you could always just send it to us as well. You could buy us a first-class seat. Or me. Yeah. Mindy already said she didn't like it, so
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I didn't find value in it.
I'll take it. I'll wave to you when you pass to go to the seat QQ or whatever's there in the back. I'll try to get you
the center of the 5 in the middle.
Oh, that's pure misery on an overseas trip. Oh.
I would pay for an upgrade to the aisle seat on that one.
Yeah, that's horrible. Anyway, Die with Zero. What do you like about this book?
I like the whole idea of don't wait until you pass away before you start giving your money away.
Cool.
Using it to enhance your life or other people's lives.
Isn't it interesting? I think we had done a similar experience to what he had done, but I don't think I had read the book yet. So he bought a concert with Natalie Merchant. What was she, 10,000 Maniacs?
I don't know.
And yeah, okay. Anyway.
Sorry.
You don't know about geography. You don't know about music. It's okay. It's okay. You've got some very strong points, and they'll surface later. Very, very strong points. There was a band that I really liked, one of my favorite bands, and they never made it big, so we were able to buy a private concert with them, much cheaper than Natalie Merchant, but we invited all our friends, and a bunch of people from out of town and even out of the country came, and that was great. I would totally do it again. No regrets whatsoever. And that was a pretty rare thing. That was probably like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If I didn't buy that show at that time, it would have been one and done, and it was still pretty difficult to spend the money on that. And that stuff is all super great, but those are one and dones. I think the things that matter more are the things you can spend on in your daily life to improve your lot, whatever that means.
Yeah, the $10,000 that we spent on the Webb Brothers concert was an enjoyable experience, but it's a one and done experience. The $200 that we spend on the cleaning every other week is a better use of our money because it is making our life so much better.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, you have to agree. I'm right.
What are some other examples of things that we do more frequently that might affect our daily life that are beneficial?
We used to be very tight-fisted with going out to eat, and we have been doing that a lot more. Remember when we did the kitchen in Geneva? We remodeled a kitchen, and instead of just going out to eat while the kitchen was being remodeled, we were eating with crock-pot meals, and I don't think we did any going out to eat that time. I was washing dishes in the bathtub.
Ooh, I use the toilet, which is nice. It's got like a rinse.
Stop.
Put your fork in there and you press the button and it like rinses it.
Oh my God, I'm so done with you.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you that till now. This is new information from Mindy, but I'm past the statute of limitations.
You are not. In marriage, there's no statute of limitations.
Ooh, if there's no divorce attorneys in the audience. If they are, send an email to Carl@MindyOnMoney.com. Do not send one to Mindy@MindyOnMoney.
Send it to Mindy, because then I've got the contact and you can't have them.
Okay.
How about we just don't get divorced? I think that would be a very detrimental...
Yeah. I guess the podcast would have to end. It would just have to be Mindy and Money instead of Mindy and Carl on Money. I'd have to have my own competing podcast, Carl on Cash. Ooh. I'd be a direct competitor to you.
That's okay. There's room for more.
Are you scared of
that?
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, focus on where you could spend in your daily life to enhance it. I actually think the issue I have with Die With Zero, if you haven't read it, is, well, he makes a point that says you should do these big things in life because you'll have these memory dividends, which, for example, we paid for this concert, and then you'll have these memories for the rest of your life. And I think that's a little bit overrated. Like, I might think of that concert like once every couple of weeks, and it just happened last year. I mean, I'm thankful that I did it. I'm happy that I did it, but it's not like that thing brings me daily joy or probably even weekly joy. So spend where you live. Spend where you spend the most time.
Yeah. Whereas the cleaning person really does free up so much time. We were cleaning like a little bit every day, but we were also making things dirty every day. So it's hard to even keep up. And now, because we start off the weekend, because she comes on Fridays, we start off the weekend clean. And then on Monday, when the girls go back to school, I tidy up again. And it's back to the state that it was when she came. I just like that better.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to kick off this next point, and this one's a bit interesting. We don't get paid to do this podcast. We actually pay for it. We don't have any sponsors, and we have to pay for this editing software and all that. But you work on another podcast, and they do pay you money to do that, right?
That is a true statement.
Okay, so with that intro, why don't you kick off the next section?
Resist the urge to make more money. Awesome. So are you saying I should quit?
No, I like your money. I'm just trying to throw you under the bus that we won't take because we take Ubers now.
Yes. Okay. So one of the problems that we see frequently is that people don't know when to stop making money. They continue to stay at their jobs for one more year or a few more years, or they acquire more businesses to generate money that they really don't need. If you've already made a lot of money, you're probably good at it. You have systems in place, and it's easy to throw more money on the pile. That's actually a phrase we use rather callously sometimes, where we will get a dividend check, or we invest in real estate syndications and that check will come back in. We're like, well, throw it on the pile. That should have been a clue for us for you to stop working, to pull back on more investing and just live. But instead, we bought this house, we bought another house, even though I can distinctly remember saying throw it on the pile at the last house across town.
Yep.
So this advice is to know your level of enough. And once you hit that, stop.
And this isn't in the outline, but here's a corollary to that. That's a hard word.
Corollary?
Corollary.
Correlation? Corollary?
Yeah.
It's really not that hard.
The C word.
You can't say that. The C word is a very bad word.
Corollary? That's coronavirus, COVID. Okay, anyway.
That's not the C word I'm talking about.
Anyway, where Mindy and I messed up is that we continued to contribute to certain retirement accounts, like a 401k account, where it would have been better not focusing on that optimization and instead putting money into our post-tax account, because that money is locked up. And I know there's ways to get at it, but they're painful. Sorry, Mr. 72T, Eric. So we optimized too long on that front. We should have kept our money off to the side and not locked it away for another 10 years. And you're older than me, so you have less time to go till you can access your 401k, which is another advantage of being older, aside from your wisdom.
Are you just going to bring up the fact that I'm older than you every episode now?
Maybe.
That's a good plan. Stick with it. I would say that I was very, very excited to participate in the over 50 catch-up contributions. And we were still contributing to our 401k for a reason. We were reducing our taxable income. But yes, perhaps that money would have been better spent in, or better invested outside of our 401ks.
Yes. Okay, next is happiness by subtraction. Everyone thinks about how they can enhance their life by buying an object or an experience. We've alluded to this many times. You can enhance your life by taking away stuff from your life. If you hate doing laundry, pay someone to do that. Or like us, if you hate cleaning, pay someone to do that. Other examples, landscaping. We outsource that, even though I don't mind it so much. It was a huge job. And
it's like 100 tons of rocks.
It was 100 tons of rocks. That's not an exaggeration. But I'm pretty swole. I don't get this body just from sitting around podcasting all day. Actually,
you would still be doing that. They came with the little bobcat and they were driving all over the place. We had big boulders that we moved into the ground.
Yeah. Another example is auto repair. Oh, I hate working on cars.
Then don't do it.
Remember the last time you helped me change the brakes?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I got a sense of accomplishment, but if I never did that again, I would not feel bad.
So it sounds like you want to do it next.
No, we didn't have the right tools. The thing that like pinched the pinchy part.
Yeah, but AutoZone lets you borrow the tool for free when you buy your brakes there.
But we didn't borrow it. We like jacked up something that we owned.
Yeah, it works fine. Our car stops. We're not dead yet. Now we have EVs, so we'll never have to change the brakes. They do regenerative braking, so that's good. But anyway, we're getting off topic here.
So off topic.
What can you take away from your life that would increase your happiness?
And next week, we are actually going to talk about the art of subtraction. How to remove things from your life so that you can have a better life.
This one I think is pretty interesting. In this, I'll call back to that concert we talked about. Spending $10,000 on a private concert seemed like an extremely ridiculous thing to do. And I think I was sweating when I clicked the purchase button on that. But all your growth comes outside of your comfort zone. So I think every once in a while, every once in a while, you should buy something that makes you feel uncomfortable just to see if it sits well with you. You never know how it's going to really feel until you've bought the thing and had that experience. And you're not going to grow as what's the word I'm looking for? You're not going to grow as a successful spender unless you take some chances and buy some things that might not work out, but it'll make it easier for you to buy something in the future.
And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It doesn't have to be a $10,000 concert. It can be a $200 cleaning person. And then you discover that, hey, I actually do a better job cleaning than they do, so I'm not going to do this again. Or you discover, holy cow, I've never seen my floors look so clean. I'm never going to clean again. I'm always going to hire it out. But the experimentation part, I would definitely give parameters to yourself. Experiment within this financial constraint or this time regeneration constraint. I wouldn't just start spending willy-nilly for no reason.
Yeah. You can buy me the cheaper Lamborghini.
Intentionality is not only not a word I made up, but also the theme here.
Okay, good. I like it.
Okay. And finally, Mark Troutman from Mark's Money Mind has something that he calls a fun bucket. And he puts X number of dollars into his bucket, and that bucket has, in his mind, that money has already come out of his net worth and is now in this bucket. It's spent. So anything that comes out of this bucket is anything he wants. When people come and visit him, he takes money from his fun bucket and takes them out to lunch or dinner. When he sees something that he wants to do, such as Amberly Grant's cruise, he gets the room that he wants to get with his fun bucket money. And he doesn't think about what he's spending there because it's already been spent. So create your own fun bucket. Oh my goodness, we were talking about buckets last episode.
Yes. You could have a collaboration with Mark, the Mindy and Mark Mindy Money Month Fun Bucket.
That's too many M's. And it's not Mindy and Mark, it's Mark and Mindy.
Mark and Mindy. Uh-oh. Mindy likes that reference.
Super a lot. Yeah, totally bring it up whenever you see me.
Could be a rainbow bucket. Didn't he have rainbow suspenders on the show?
He did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mark and Mindy, you two should have a podcast. You could.
Wow.
That would be a good one.
Okay.
Then you could have your bucket with both your faces on there.
Anyway, Mark's Fun Bucket is a great thought exercise.
How much money is in our fun bucket?
We don't have a fun bucket.
You're right, we don't.
We need to get a fun bucket.
How much does a cheap Lamborghini cost?
I don't know.
Okay.
$40,000?
You can buy yourself the Cybertruck that you want for like $100 now. That's a lot of money, though.
I don't want a Cybertruck.
Okay, I thought you did.
It's way too much money for a Cybertruck.
Weren't you going to get Cyber Mindy on the side, like get a wrap?
No.
You could deliver your fun buckets, your Mindy fun buckets in the Cyber Mindy truck.
Okay.
Anyway.
Really way off the rails.
Yes, let's get back to task.
Okay. And one thing that we are still working out is our giving. Many of us have saved way too much. So consider giving back. A donor advised fund is a great way to do this. We are going to have a guest on in the future who can give us more information about donor advised funds. But essentially, you are taking some of the stock that you already own and gifting them to your fund, and then your fund disperses them.
Cool. Yeah, we will do that. And we've been doing some experiments with that, like sending students to the Camp FI so they can learn about money and start to get immersed at a young age. But yeah, you could start that on a very small level now, and eventually we'll donate big money. Like I don't want my name on anything, but it'd be fun to pay for like a building in our city and just put some ridiculous name on there, like the Mindy Bucket Building or something like that.
It's probably not going to be that.
That's your name, but they'll have to because we'll give them like $1 million to put a new wing on the library.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Once some of our investments take off.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up the Evolving with Money episode. I would love for you to share with us and with our listeners how you have evolved with your net worth. You can comment in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/MindyOnMoney, or you can email Mindy at MindyOnMoney or Carl at MindyOnMoney.
Thank you.
Next week, we will talk about the art of subtraction. Okay, you wanted to do an outtake about something?
No, what was it?
I don't know, what was it? Buckets, buildings, blah, blah, blah. Saving to spending, money to spend. The Joneses, their scorecard, experimentation, that was zero, was a search to make more money. Was there a search to make more money? I don't know, we should write that down.
Yeah, it's fine. And I'll say something else on that, which I forgot. Hold on, real.